Hi guys, welcome to this video where we're going to deal with the imposter syndrome and help you get over that so you can get more productive and ultimately you can overcome your fears when you're on your development career. And inevitably you will feel like this at some point. So if you want to learn how to deal with it, you want loads of tips and tricks on development, hit that subscribe button, ding dong that bell, give us a big thumbs up, and let's get on with the video. So the first thing is, what is imposter syndrome? Well, it's where you feel like an imposter. You feel like a phony or a fraud. Now, I can tell you that this is not just in programming, but it mostly is in programming, where everybody feels that imposter syndrome. Lots of top educators and top public speakers, such as Tony Robbins, have already spoken about this subject, where they feel like an imposter. Maybe they talk to a room of 7 people and they're really trying to inspire people to make money, but they haven't got a lot of money themselves. This creates the imposter syndrome. Maybe when you're a programmer, you're really struggling to understand concepts and, programming is a fast-moving industry and there's a lot to read, a lot to learn and a lot to do. And this industry is prone to the imposter syndrome, where you don't feel like you should be a programmer, or you don't feel you should be paid this much, or you don't feel that you're right for those bigger roles, those bigger jobs. This can hold you back from a greater career, it can hold you back from productivity, and it can also stem how much you can earn, because you feel like your worth is only a set amount of currency, but your skills and your intelligence could be far beyond that skill set and far beyond that sort of level that you think you're an imposter. I myself have suffered with this, and I've noticed the little snippets inside your mind that get the imposter syndrome going. Number one is self-doubt. When you start to doubt what you're doing and doubt how you approach software issues, that is when you really start to see the imposter syndrome. 2, when you struggle with a lot of things and you're learning a whole bunch of new technology and you're not really giving yourself space and time. It's mostly through the learning process in which the imposter syndrome can stem from, when you're writing software that you're not fully familiar with and you have to learn it. So these are the little flecks that you should watch out for, and you should watch out for them at 2 key stages. Number 1, when you're writing software in libraries, languages and frameworks that you don't know fully yet, but you have a grasp on their architecture and a general idea of how they work. And number 2, at learning stages. When you're learning something becomes really difficult and maybe you're not grasping the full concept, then the imposter syndrome comes along and bites you in the bottom, and it's not actually helpful, productive or easy. So let's take a look at how we can get rid of it. How do you beat imposter syndrome? It's very simple. You need more hubris. As a programmer, you should have hubris. What is that? Well, it's kind of like laughing in the face of defeat. Maybe it's got you down, but you know eventually you're going to get the answer. You need to be more hubris. You need to care less about the fact that you don't know something, but you need to care more with the fact that you will eventually overcome it. So you need to have an attitude that cares less about what you don't know and care more about gaining what you need to know. This is something that a lot of programmers face. And let me tell you something, everybody starts new. And this is a good saying to remember when you have those feelings. Everybody starts new. If it's Bill Gates and I chucked him in front of a Vue application, he would have to know Vue. If it were any one of the top programmers, they'd have to know these frameworks. And I guarantee you that I would know more than them about jQuery or Vue.js or maybe React. And they may know less than me about these things. So I know what I do is I look towards my strengths to really beat out that type of stuff. I know how good I am. I know how talented I am in that one individual thing. And always find your niche. Know what you're really good at, even in your everyday life. Find something that you're very good at and focus on that when you get the imposter syndrome. That means that you're focusing on your skill sets, you're focusing on what you have learned, and the fact that at some point you were a complete novice and now you're a complete professional at that one thing. Well, do the same thing in programming. Do it when you face the imposter syndrome, because the imposter syndrome is only going to do negative things to you. It's only going to hold you back career-wise. It's going to stop you earning what you should be earning. And I think programmers are already paid a little bit less than what they should be, particularly around in my area. But when you start looking at what people do in certain geographical areas, they don't get paid a lot. But then when I look at the top expert level people in London or in New York, they're not doing anything particularly special. And I've even seen top agencies and top code being completely written wrong. And so that also will help eliminate the imposter syndrome. If someone tells you you can't do something or you're not very good at it, you can say, well, I'm always going to learn how to do it and I'm always going to be better. Second, I wouldn't work for a company that did those types of things. I'd happily leave that company and go with a company that's very supportive, because you need that supportive environment to help you progress and move on. And we've all got to start somewhere. And no, you're not going to be proficient and an expert in several technologies overnight. If any company has this unrealistic expectation, then either they've got that expectation from somewhere because you've sounded too knowledgeable about something, or what it could mean is actually, it's just not a supportive industry. So what I like to do is to avoid those situations with employers. Never overplay what you know. Just tell them exactly what you know without any bravado or any stick, and just be very clear and direct. And if you really don't know something, just say it. It probably won't affect your pay packet, and it means you'll get the support where you need it. If the only thing that really annoys people is if you say that you're proficient and an expert in this one thing, and then they go over the top with their expectations. So you must always bring down their expectations sometimes and bring up their expectations when you know you're fully proficient in certain technologies. That sells yourself. It shows that you're genuine and you're ready to learn, but you may not know everything about a certain topic. I've had this situation before. I am very knowledgeable about a lot of things. That makes people think overly or too highly of you in some certain circumstances where you've got to get everything right, otherwise it's not. And it's like programming, you can approach things in 1,000 different ways. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's correct or this is right or that is wrong, right? So you do have to be careful of that in the industry. It's a very egocentric industry as well. Some people add a lot of ego in there. Again, bring down their expectations, bring down what they're doing and say, right, well, I can learn this and this and this. But the imposter syndrome is really just negative feelings about the industry that you're in and you don't feel true. But look at the success you have had, look at the things you have built, and then tell me that you're not successful. You are successful at something. You have done something successful with your life. If you wouldn't be watching this video. And the imposter syndrome alone can actually defeat the imposter syndrome. This is something that you might want to take note of. If you have the imposter syndrome, it means that you do care. But what also it means is you care overly too much. You're not hubris enough. Now, don't become completely hubris and say, well, I can do everything in 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. But hubris is, I will definitely be able to overcome these problems. I've got a team around me, support and help. So get rid of that. Too much care can do too much damage. Care enough to learn and to grow. That's where your caring should be and your care should be placed upon. And the fact that you have the imposter syndrome shows that you do care about what you're doing, and really something inside of your conscience is telling you something that isn't true. And therefore all you need to do is battle that bit out. Be hubris enough, but don't oversell yourself in anything. Keep on a humble plane. Never yell or shout at other team members. Keep people productive, keep people happy, keep people circulating around, and keep that knowledge increasing. Now the final step is, how do you keep it away? Well, it's very simple. Learn that hubris thing, and also challenge yourself by keep learning new things. If you don't keep learning new things, guess what happens? You fall behind, and then to get back to where you need to be, you have to learn quite a bit. And with the imposter syndrome as well, you're battling two things at once. So you're going to have to deal with the imposter syndrome, then start learning. So my advice to people with this is always keep learning. Always find something, even if it's innocuous, it will still help you later on down the line. I've even noticed this. I've been coding projects and done things I think, I'm never going to use this, and I have used it. And that's helped a lot of other people. and so you feel better about yourself. Also, learn how to teach as well. Teach yourself or teach a classmate, or get on YouTube and make a YouTube video. Teach something that you're really good at. This will definitely help beat the imposter syndrome out of you, because not only are you learning, you're also then producing content that actually people will go, wow, that's really good. People will comment and say it's very good. Now, if you get it wrong, then you can go back and relearn it. And every single time you're making a mistake, that's one less mistake you're going to make in the future. So never really have that mindset of imposter syndrome. It's completely unproductive. And the way you really beat it out is just keep going with the knowledge and know things that other people don't know. So when they want to flash their knowledge in your face and be all egocentrical, you flash your knowledge back in their face, and then you can clearly see it. And even in here, you can do the same thing. This is what I've done. This is what I've accomplished. And you think about that, and then that will carry you forward and make sure that imposter syndrome stays under wraps. And it's a continual process, by the way. It's not an ending process. So keep working hard, guys. Remember, you are talented. You do have certain skills, and you have built interfaces and accomplished some beautiful things. So don't feel like an imposter. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more free tips and tricks, if you want loads more tutorials and information, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that ding dong bell, give us a big thumbs up, and enjoy the video. And there's some more videos that I believe you will find of interest. Keep growing and keep learning.